I've had a love-hate relationship with Cooler Master peripherals over the years, with some of their lower-end or mid-range options actually performing very well, while their high-end stuff has always just been kind of meh. The original Master Keys Pro was pretty good. The MS-120 was not. The CK550 was great for the price, and last year's MK750 flagship was quite disappointing. And now we have something new altogether with the MK850. Paired with it is the MM830, and we're going to take a closer look at the pair of them in today's video. PowerColor's Radeon Vega 56 Red Dragon is now available for $319.99 through March 11th, so if you've been hankering for a high-end 1080p or 1440p gaming experience, now is the time to jump on board. Featuring a 3-fan cooler design with extended fin stack to keep your temps down, the Vega 56 has proven to be an extremely fun card to tinker with and overclock. The 8 gigs of HBM2 ensure you won't run out of frame buffer on any of the 3 free games that come included if you get in on the action before the sale expires, so check out the link below to learn more. There's not a whole lot of new in the keyboard and mouse space. Most of the new products that make big splashes do so by adding more of the same. More RGB effects, more buttons, more adjustable weighting, more macros. So when these two showed up at the office pre-CES, I wasn't sure what to expect, because Cooler Master told me they're sporting some truly unique features. As a reviewer, I'm inherently skeptical of manufacturer claims, but to be honest, they weren't lying. Let's start by taking a look at the MM830. Even its more basic features qualify as fairly impressive, like the Pixar 3360 optical sensor, adjustable up to 24,000 dpi, and Omron switches rated for 20 million clicks. The body of the mouse itself feels weighty and solid, and the construction and contouring is kind of a hybrid claw/palm style. At 162 grams, it definitely falls on the heavy end of the spectrum, but I didn't mind, and it didn't really require any adjustment period from my daily driver SteelSeries Rival 650. In fact, switching between the two required no real adjustment period at all. The MM830 felt comfortable and accurate from the get-go. The build materials are smooth in the right locations and grippy in others. I have recently begun to appreciate things like soft touch plastics on the palm rest or even on the buttons, but the hard plastics here didn't really cause me any duress. The right side of the mouse is covered in textured rubber, and here is where we find the two parts of the MM830 that make it stand out from the crowd. The first is an actual D-pad in place of your standard forward and back buttons. By default, the front and rear buttons are mapped to forward and back, so you're not losing any functionality there. But the fact that it is actually a D-pad means that you can use it as a stand-in for motion controls if you really wanted to. Of course, you can just assign the buttons to whatever you want, but the layout makes it such that they are easily identifiable by touch, and you likely won't ever get them confused by accidentally hitting one of them over the other when you're in the heat of battle. The one gripe that I have about the layout is that the down button rests right in the cove at the bottom and is a little difficult to press, especially if you have large thumbs. The other thing that Cooler Master has incorporated here is a small OLED screen. Now, while they're not the first ones to do this, it's not a feature that you see on many mice, and it certainly makes the MM830 stand out. The screen can be used to show system information, mouse DPI, the Cooler Master logo, or anything else that you can configure to fit on the 96x24 panel. This includes your own logo or custom text. Of course, what would a gaming mouse be in 2019 without RGB? And there are 4 different lighting zones that you can control via the Portal software, which we will get to in a sec. The lighting effects are nice and all, but this isn't what's selling a mouse to me right now. It's all about control and feel, and the MM830 does get high marks in both. The MK850 is the successor to the MK750, which I did not do a review of on the channel. I do have one though, and to be honest, I didn't love it. I provided feedback to Cooler Master, and although I'm sure that what I said carried little or no weight, it appears that almost everything that I had a problem with has been changed, upgraded, or fixed. The deck has an aluminum top plate with a brushed finish up top, and a sandblasted appearance on the edges and around the sides. It's a fairly subdued and classy look that unfortunately is offset by gloss black plastic at the top, which I'm never a fan of on products that you have to touch literally all the time. That top piece does house twin rollers, however, one for volume and one for, well, I guess whatever you want it to be for. Next to the rollers are a set of media keys, and I do enjoy me a good mute switch. The rear of the keyboard sports not one, but two USB 2.0 pass-throughs, and in an age where people's desks are littered with RGB accessories like mouse pads, this is a great way to attack that and clean up some of that cable mess. If we flip the entire unit over, we see 3 different pathways to route the detachable fabric USB-C cable, along with flip-out feet. The wrist rest is still magnetically attached, but the magnets this time around feel stronger and less prone to detaching during normal use. This was one of my biggest complaints about the 750. It just felt like any tiny movement on the desk would cause the wrist rest to go flying off in a weird direction. The wrist rest itself is comfortable, soft foam, and a good angle and width to be useful. If you do detach it, however, underneath you'll find an RGB accent strip that's much brighter than the one on the 750, albeit without the Cooler Master logo. And speaking of logos, the unit that CM sent over to me included my BPS logo on the function key, which was a cool little personalized touch and is much appreciated by this reviewer. The lighting effects are pretty standard and can be controlled through software, but one of the neat features of a lot of Cooler Master keyboards is that they are also hardware controlled, so you don't actually have to have any software running in the background if you don't want it to. You can cycle through brightness, color, speed, and pattern presets by using combinations of button presses, and it's likely that you'll be able to land on at least something that you like without ever having to open the software at all. However, you'll probably want to, and if for no other reason than to help dial in the biggest selling point of the MK850, the built-in AimPad technology. AimPad is a company that has developed a way to translate keystrokes into analog input. To put it in simpler terms, most times when a keyboard registers a key press, it's binary and the signal is digital, meaning that it's either 0 or off or 1 on. So it's an all or nothing proposal. This means that if you're in a driving game and want to turn left, if you hit the A key, the car will turn the steering wheel all the way to the left. Or if you want to accelerate and hit the W, your driver will just mash the throttle. With AimPad on the MM850, there is a full 4 millimeters of travel distance that translates into different levels of actuation. Of course, you wouldn't want this to be on all the time. Typing up this review, for instance, would be a nightmare with AimPad enabled. So there are toggle buttons on the upper right that let you turn it on, turn it off, or control the sensitivity. AimPad is built into the WASD keys as well as Q, E, R, and F. It's a really cool feature that I'll have to explore a little more and maybe do a follow-up on with some gameplay demos, which I think would be pretty cool. The Cooler Master Portal software gives you control over AimPad as well, allowing you to turn it on or off for certain keys and also allowing you to map these keys to different buttons you may find on an analog controller. You can also adjust sensitivity here, so if you'd rather have a visualization of exactly what you're changing within AimPad, this is how you do it. Of course, the software suite also allows you to control the RGB effects and map keys as appropriate, including the rollers and the macros. For the MM830, you can control all 4 lighting zones with different effects, map the D-pad buttons, control sensitivity and profile presets, and also tinker with the OLED panel and decide what you want your mouse to be displaying. You can upload your own image, as I clearly have, or even just draw something freehand, as long as it's within the small pixel range that they provide. Overall, both the MM830 and MK850 were winners in my book that take a fairly unique approach to PC gaming. AimPad is kind of a game changer for titles that include any kind of vehicle control, driving primarily. And the list of supported programs is growing rapidly. You can find the list on AimPad's website and decide if it's something that you might want to try out. The keyboard otherwise is solid, with your standard cherry red typing experience and, of course, RGB lighting. The MM830 is a great feeling mouse with precise control and good weighting, and the OLED screen is a nice little touch. I think the D-pad concept is also very good, although placement of the buttons could use just a slight bit of tweaking. So what do you guys think of Cooler Master's new peripherals? Let me know down below in the comments as always. And don't forget to get subscribed to the channel and hit that little bell icon to get notified of new uploads. By the time that you guys watch this, I'll be across the Pacific Ocean in China, getting a chance to check out some factories firsthand, and hopefully I'll have some great footage to share when I get back. So, as always guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.